Hi, and welcome to another episode of our 8th grade academic counseling video series. In this series, my hope is to be able to provide information for parents in order to help ease the transition from junior high to high school. So today's topic, we're going to jump right in, is U.S. Colleges 101 with the subtext of it's not one size fits all. My hope for you is to provide you with some very basic information about how U.S. colleges work here and really start to expand your opinion or your views or just some thoughts around types of colleges that might be available down the road for your 8th grader. Now again, this is very early in the planning phase, so I do not want you to obsess over college. Instead, I am just trying to educate you with the basics, okay? So here we go. Starting with the overarching structure of higher education in the United States. You can see here on the left-hand side that we have the different types of degrees that someone can achieve, right? So for example, by going to a vocational or technical institute or a junior college, that someone could earn an associate degree or a certificate in something like a healthcare field or something like that. And then moving up, you can see there's undergraduate programs where you can earn your bachelor's degree, obviously master's programs where you can earn a master's degree, and so forth, okay? The other thing I'll just point out is over here on the right-hand side is a general guideline of how many years it might take. So hopefully that's just a good foundation to see how the different programs stack on each other. And different colleges, which we're about to talk about, offer some of these, different ones of these. It just depends on what that college is going to offer. Okay, so with that said, let's take a look at the different types of colleges we have in the United States. I'll go ahead and start with the community colleges. These are roughly like 2-year associate degree earning schools where often you can work on getting a bunch of general education requirements out if you want to transfer to a 4-year institution, or you could work on getting any sort of technical or like a radiologist type of certificate. Lots of different options in the community college. Below that on the slide, you'll see liberal arts colleges. And these I knew nothing about, honestly, growing up here in California. My older sisters didn't go to one of these, and so I'd never really heard about them. Think smaller, like roughly 2,500 students as opposed to 20,000 or 30,000 or 40,000 for some of the other larger institutions. So again, fewer students means much more emphasis on the kind of the community as well as the faculty student ability to work together and to have opportunities in things like labs and stuff like that. So often also very broad in terms of what they offer: humanities, sciences, social sciences. The kind of classic thinking at a liberal arts college is that you are educated or you are taught how to think and how to learn, and that can then be applicable to just about any area or any field after that. Okay, you can also get specific degrees, biology degrees or English degrees. That's very common. But again, it's more of the how that they approach the education that differentiates them from other schools. On the right-hand side, you'll see, starting at the top, the regional colleges and universities, and things. These are ones like San Jose State or Cal State East Bay. I'd say mostly public schools, focus on teaching more hands-on. More things like if you want to be a teacher, as opposed to studying education broadly, research in education. This is going to be much more hands-on. Accounting, different professions like that are often available at a regional university where they want to train their students up to be able to go right out into the world and start their career. Research universities, heavy emphasis on the word research, okay? And these can be public, they can be private, they can be big, they can be small. So Stanford has maybe 5,000, 6,000 undergraduates and maybe another 9,000 graduate students in their programs. Other schools like UCLA or obviously Berkeley, all of our UCs fall into this research university kind of bucket, and where they offer undergraduate degrees as well as more graduate degrees after that, okay? Now, in terms of where students go across the United States, roughly 21% goes to a community college, 48% to a 4-year public school, and another 31% to a private 4-year school. Now, I wanted to go a little bit deeper into our California-based systems, of which we have really three. We have the UCs, the CSUs, and the community college system. So let me tell you a little bit about each of those. Starting with the UCs, there are 9 campuses, okay, as far south as San Diego and all the way up to Davis, which is only just a few hours away from here. Eligibility, you can see on the slide, you have to complete all those A through G subject requirements, which if you haven't seen the one-pager on the 4-year course requirements here at King's, it also has the A through G requirements, and that's also in the course catalog if you haven't seen it. Again, they have an emphasis on research and preparing you for a kind of a graduate program after. The cost is roughly around $42,000 a year, depending on the campus, and that cost is going to include like the tuition, your room and board, right? So all your food costs. It will also include your travel, maybe books, lab fees. So trying to be an all-inclusive cost, and again, that number is going to change over time. And then lastly, I'll just quickly point out how highly desirable our UCs are. So in the list of top 30 most selective public schools, 7 on that list of 30 are in our UC system. Okay, so very popular. Who doesn't love beautiful California, right? Okay, so moving on, let me tell you a little bit about our CSU system, or our Cal State system. Okay, 23 campuses, more northern, all the way up to Humboldt, beautiful Cal Poly Humboldt, all the way down to San Diego State University. Similar A through G subject requirements, a minimum GPA of 2.0. Again, more of an emphasis on practical, career-focused education. So fun fact, I think there's 3 UCs who even offer a business degree, right? So much more, as opposed to the majority probably of our CSUs. Cost is a little bit less at around $30,000 a year. Some, not all, are a little bit more commute-based, right? And that's part of the reason that they exist, is they're meant to serve the residents around them. And we have 3 CSUs who are in the list of top 30 most selective schools in the United States. Again, pretty popular. I'm going to share this with you briefly. These were 2023 acceptance rates, just to give you an understanding of how, again, it's not one size fits all. Different schools have different selectivity rates, or different acceptance rates, I guess you could say too. And it's not on the slide, but I want you to take home the fact that selectivity does not equal better education. There's 0 data out there that says the more selective a school is, or highly desirable it is, the better the education. So just know that you can go to any of these schools on these lists, have very successful careers in whatever your student might be interested in, okay? But I did just want to kind of set the stage, let you know that some of our schools, like UCLA, and some of those top UCs you see on the list, but, you know, there's a wide range even within the UCs, right? UC Riverside at 63%, UC Merced at an 89% acceptance rate. So, pure FYI, not meant to value these schools, just meant to provide information. And lastly, well, actually, the next one is the community colleges, or junior colleges, as they're often called too. We have 116 here in California, and I will tell you, across the United States, California is considered the model for community colleges. That has a lot to do with the pathway that we offer to getting into a CSU or a UC. Okay, so in order to apply, all you need is a high school diploma or equivalent. Okay, that is required. The cost is actually free for a lot of students coming right out of high school for 2 years, or roughly around $4,000 a year. So right there, you can kind of see one of the reasons why people might choose this. Okay, affordability. Next reason to consider might be that a student is just not quite ready for a 4-year program. Maybe because their grades weren't quite there. Maybe because maybe socially, emotionally, they're just not ready yet, and that's okay. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that's okay. No matter the path we take, we're going to support and love our kids. And really, the goal is not college, right? College is just one piece of the rest of their lives. So no matter what path they take, it's really okay. Again, they also have certificate programs, and it could be a great transfer option for families as well. All right, and I just thought since I was sharing some acceptance rates, I thought I would just go ahead and share 2023 transfer rates, right? So students who went to community colleges here in California, you can see 30% of them who applied to UCLA got in. right? Davis at the bottom of the list right here with 70%. So again, a good, it's a reason to consider maybe going the community college route if your heart is set on one of those UCs that might not be, available at the time that you graduate high school. I also want to touch on a couple of other types of schools. So this is out-of-state public universities. So you can see the list of these are public schools, much like our UC or CSU system. Okay, over 2,000 of them, typically big. Again, they're state schools. They're meant to be educating the people in their state. The cost can sometimes range from $25,000 to $70,000, so wide range in what costs could be. And some reason to consider them could be a specific academic program that's being offered. Maybe someone has a really great aeronautical engineering program, for example, or landscape architecture that's not available here. Maybe some families want to consider this for the new cultural geographical experience. Get outside of California, maybe experience all 4 seasons could be kind of nice. Networking opportunities, as well as just growing their independence, getting outside of California, going away, as well as cost. Right? So some of these could be a more financially feasible option than even some of our in-states. And then lastly, I have to share with you is our private colleges. And these can be in-state, out-of-state, big, small. There's a huge range of what these are. Liberal arts, they could be larger research universities. Some of these on the list are known Christian organization or Christian-based schools, or some are, like Santa Clara is in the Catholic kind of denomination. Things worth considering, because a lot of times people will really resonate with their mission, their values, things like that. Sometimes can have smaller class sizes or even real specialized attention, specialized programs, any of those things, as well as cost, could be an option here too. But please note, as I've said in some of my other talks with you, is that costs have a huge range. And so getting familiar with some of those costs is really going to be to your best advantage earlier rather than later in the process. Acceptance rates, you may have seen this slide in one of my previous presentations. A lot of focus on those really selective schools, right? And you can see based on this slide that there are so many other schools. And in fact, right, over 3,000 colleges in the United States, and 85% of them accept more than half. So I just thought I would also share with you a little bit of where King's graduates have gone, just to to restate and emphasize the point that it's not one size fits all, right? So you can see here on the slide that about 34% of 2024 graduates from King's enrolled or matriculated at a California public, right? So a CSU or a UC. And again, those are often the first thing that people think of, especially being here in California, right? We're taxpayers. We get an amazing value by going versus out-of-state students who want to come to California. So it makes sense to apply. But for some students, those just aren't the right or the best fit for them. So you can see pretty much close to that is 33% of students going to private schools, both in and out of state. 18% heading on out of state for public schools. About 12% of our students went off to a community college. 2% took a gap year, and 1% headed to the military. Okay, so some options is really my point here. And again, another popular slide I like to share is just for inspiration, all the different types of names of colleges that many of our students have gone off to. Okay, so what that all boils down to is my best possible advice for you as a parent when you're thinking down the road what type of college might be the best fit for your student. It's really, college is not a match to be made, but it is a match to be made and not a prize to be won. Okay, and finding that fit. And again, down the road, we're going to talk more about social fit, like what types of people go to this campus. Are they super competitive, or are they known for being more social and supportive and community-based, right? Are they a school that focuses on social justice, right? Like, what are the different things about a school that would help your student feel really like at home, as well as be able to perform their best, right? Happy students are going to perform better. right? Academic fit. Do they have the major that your student is interested in? Are they with peers who think like them, maybe either academically minded or, you know what, maybe not want to spend all their time in deep just theoretical discussions. And then lastly is that financial piece, which I will go ahead and say I'm going to do my next video talking more about looking at that financial fit and how you can start to plan for that now. Okay. So with that, I thank you. I know this video went a little bit longer than my previous ones, but hopefully it was helpful information. As you know, you can contact me and let me know if you would like to set up time to talk about your students specifically or any questions that you might have. Okay, thanks so much for joining, and I'll talk to you soon.